Everybody come see us on tour. We'll be in Columbus, Dayton, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Lexington, Kentucky, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. So Dave Smith, friend of the show, libertarian Dave Smith, is on with the establishment toady and piece of it, Medi Hasan. Now, Medi Hasan, if you remember, he thought that if he lied about Russiagate, and he lied about Syria, and he lied about the Ukraine war, and he lied about COVID, that would insulate him and earn him enough favor so he could tell a little bit of truth about Palestine, Israel. Well, he was wrong, and then they fired his ass. That's how stupid that Medi Hasan is. So now he doesn't have a job, and he ends up on panels debating fucking comedians, okay?
So, aren't you at least, you like how Destiny and Medi Hasan are putting Dave in a cuck sandwich?
Why Sarah Palin watches?
So here's Pierce Morgan, and... talk about shallow and disgusting, but here... So they're going to be arguing. So Mehdi Hasan's position here is that all the generals who are now coming out and saying, by the way, you don't become a general because you're good at war. That's like saying you become vice president because you're a political genius, okay? You become a general because it's political, because the war machine tells the senators and whoever that's how this all works, okay? The war machine runs everything, and nobody becomes a general unless they're willing to serve the war machine. And there's only a handful of people who buck that system. Colonel Wilkinson, who was the chief of staff to Colin Powell. I just met him this past weekend, and he said in the green room backstage, like, hey, what are you guys doing here at a peace rally for Jose Vega? And he told my friend Russell Dobular, he's like, yeah, we saw what the game was, and we weren't willing to play it. The game was you just go along and you make a lot of money on a speaking circuit, and you get paid millions and millions of dollars. You end up on a board of a weapons manufacturer because you're an ex-general, and that's how this game works. But there's only a few people, a handful, and Wilkinson is one of them, and he didn't play that game, so he ends up on a panel with Jimmy Dore. That's how that happened. But so now, here is Mehdi Hasan his argument is going to be that we should trust all these pieces of shit who are now saying Donald Trump is like Hitler, and let's just let Dave make the case. Here we go.
But am I really supposed to just these generals are all beyond lying? I mean, Mattis, as you know, right? Mattis resigned because Trump actually tried to pull out of Syria, which he had campaigned on.
But he didn't
run on.
Trump.
No, by the way,
I agree with you.
No, he did.
No, he said he doesn't respect the Constitution. They all consistently
No,
say
I'm not saying, okay,
thing.
fine. But what does that even mean to them? They don't respect the Constitution. We were in Syria unconstitutionally.
There you go.
Bang.
The Democrats are upset that this unconstitutional mission that Donald Trump isn't respecting the unconstitutional. What are they talking about? That's a perfect point, right in Mehdi Hasan's establishment shilling fucking face. And
but Jimmy, I've got a British accent. You're supposed to be intimidated and scared of every word out of my mouth. It's genetic at this point. I'm supposed to terrify you because my education was better. It doesn't mean I'm right. It just means I'm British.
Okay, here we go. So there's more to this. Watch this.
Do you believe all the generals are just attacking... Forget the generals.
Yeah, first of all, yes, I believe all the generals who are saying that shit are all full of shit and lying.
What is he talking about?
Hey, all the generals. So here we go.
It's almost like It's almost like when you're telling me all the intelligence people are lying about Hunter Biden's laptop. Is that what you're telling me? All of them are lying? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Do you believe all the generals are just attacking... Forget the generals. Go through everyone. His press secretary, his vice president. We can go through the list. NBC went to 44 cabinet officials and said, are you voting for Trump?
Yes, okay.
4
Okay,
said
so let me ask you a question. I believe that I do not trust Donald Trump. I think he's not an honest person. He's a self-promoter who will say whatever makes him look good.
Like every politician that's ever been in my lifetime. Okay, good point. Here we go.
I believe that when Donald Trump said, all of this rhetoric about drain the swamp in 2016, when he said we're not going to fight these wars anymore, when he, maybe somewhat unwittingly, called out Obama and John Brennan for the literal treason that they committed in Syria, with a capital T, arming and funding the enemy in wartime. Okay, when he said Obama created ISIS, things like that, I think he made a lot of enemies in Washington, D.C. And the idea that you could get 5 or 10 of them to come together and all say something bad about him, I'm not.
Doesn't.
Okay, fine, dozens.
Dave,
I don't believe them either.
Okay, Dave, you're a smart guy. Let me just put it to you, just very simply. If I'm Mike Pence, am I not voting for Donald Trump because my family almost got killed or because Trump was in Syria? I'm going to take the simple answer that he's not supporting Trump because he saw that Trump did on January 6th. Well, that's my point. Okay, you can go down the list. I can be here all day telling you about former Trump officials who have turned on him. They can't all be lying.
Yes, they can. Yes, in fact, they are all lying. Yes. You know, the same people who, you mean all the people who lied about Vietnam through 4 different presidents, who lied about Iraq twice, who lied about Afghanistan for 20 years, Syria, Libya, Yemen, Somalia, they can't also be lying now.
We're due for a win, Jimmy.
So Dave, he gets it. Watch this.
They can't. I mean, they can't. By definition, they could.
All of them are lying. Trump's telling the truth.
It's not
it sounds
a law.
insane.
It's not. Well, no, I don't. It's not a law of logic that they couldn't all be lying. Yes, you could get a bunch of people in
Yes, you get a bunch of people in D.C. to lie about fucking anything, just like they're lying right now about the Ukraine war, like they're lying about Russiagate and lawfare. There isn't on COVID. They had everybody in the world lying about COVID. It was one big lie. Go ahead. Anybody want to say?
When did they tell the truth?
When did yeah?
What?
Basically,
how is he even? They can't all be like, you lost your job because they're all lying.
That's right.
Holy shit. Dave did a great job. I really wanted him to make Mehdi talk in his jihad voice again. Acoustic stuff.
And aside from that, the average brick has no idea which building it's holding up. Yeah. It just shows up every day right where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's compartmentalization. You don't have to.
Deep, dude. That was deep.
Yeah.
I thought I'd do the bricklaying thing.
That was nice. I appreciate it.
How's a guy from the pyramid part of the world not know that?
So
how could you be so against what Israel's doing in Gaza, which is the right side to be, and not think that the exact same people working with those people doing in Gaza are not doing it here and doing it in Syria and doing it in Afghanistan, everywhere? It's unbelievable, the mental gymnastics that people are doing.
I can answer that for you, Tripoli.
Okay.
You have to read Mehdi Hasan's book, How to Win Any Argument. Except against Dave Smith. He lost that argument very clearly.
Hey, if you're tuning into this show, chances are you share our frustration with mainstream media bias. We've all seen how often we're being shown only one side of the story, whether it's selective reporting, outright spin, or due to establishment or corporate interest. Check out this example. An MSNBC producer admitted the network is doing all they can to help Kamala Harris win. Only one liberal source covered this story, and they're from outside the United States. No liberal media in America reported on this story. Or take this recent report from Gallup about how trust in mass media is at an all-time low. Barely any legacy media covered it. But we were able to find these stories because of what? Today's sponsor, Ground News Blind Spot Feed, which is a powerful tool that exposes important stories mainstream media overlooks or intentionally sidesteps. Stories from both sides of the political spectrum. Ground News is a fantastic app and website that gathers related articles from around the world in one place, highlighting each source's political bias, factual reliability, and corporate interest. So if you want to see through the spin on any media story, for a limited time, you can take advantage of Ground News' biggest sale of the year. My viewers are going to get 50% off their top-tier Vantage plan by going to ground.news/JD or scan the QR code on your screen. If you like this show, I think you'll love this platform. Everybody come see us on tour. We'll be in Columbus, Dayton, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Lexington, Kentucky, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.